Greetings and God bless. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I wanted to address folks who are considering doing a sex change operation and also those who have already gone through it. And number one, I pray for all of you to get the support that you need, to get the freedom, the weight off of you that you need to get free of whatever is tormenting you so you can really make the best decisions that's in your best interest. Because there's a new growth industry, because medicine is not making as much money from cancer, people aren't buying into chemotherapy. They're not buying into, just standard, standard American diet causing diabetes and cancer and all sorts of, autism. Um, Patients are like they've lost patience with doctors because all medicine, all the FDA, all the CDC has done is create an income stream for the big military medical, medicine industrial complex. Um, so so what medicine has done is like we still want to control people, and so they have made it so they've implanted this mind virus that you're not what your biology is. And I can tell from personal experience. So YouTube and the bots and Big Brother, number one, this is just my personal experience, my lived experience, where I wore like boy drag, what I call boy drag. Like I wasn't a drag king, because I wasn't in the um, the environment of. I mean, I had friends who were worked at a cabaret and stuff like that, and they did drag queen kind of a thing. But I'm just not a performer. But as a way of life of living in bad neighborhoods, I just felt more comfortable wearing gender neutral clothes. I just felt more assertive, authoritarian. I just felt safer, because it just seemed to me females are more vulnerable. Females are the easy target of bullies and whatnot. And it really was effective for me when I was living in bad parts of town when I was in my 20s in San Francisco. But I also, because of chronic stress that I had as a child and toxic exposures I had as a child, um, like I had a lot of body hair, and it was just like, like I was like, why God, why did you do this to me? Did you want me to be a man? And so I was like, okay, well, since you're giving me all this like facial hair and stuff, I just like went with it. Um, and and I did this for 9 years, and a little bit before, maybe like a decade. Okay. So I'm talking from personal experience of somebody who is just like, I'm as good as a guy, you know, and of course, I probably started doing it in, I don't know, like maybe in my 20s, maybe, yeah. Um, and I was doing boy drag. I was deliberately looking like a guy and getting mistaken when I'd go to the women's bathroom and would get upset at me. But then they would realize I'm a woman, but I just had a short haircut and masculine behavior. So, so I'm telling you, that was going through that in my 20s, all right? And it kind of stopped in my 30s, like you a little bit before. And I was I moved, like I'd been doing all sorts of like self-healing kind of things, from art therapy and meditation and real talk therapy and um I mean, just so many things. I was like a self-help junkie, okay? And I wasn't even working on my, like I don't think I had like a major gender dysphoria, but Yeah, I mean, if you look at pretty women with fancy hair and nails and stuff, they all are driving cars. Why? Because it's not safe to be on the sidewalk. It's not safe to live in a crummy part of town. Like, you have to have a high income in order to be very pretty, because everybody kind of hates a pretty, glammed up woman. Like, the predators want you for themselves, and then the resenters want to hate on you or something like that. Like, I have never found femininity to be a safe, good place. It's not a protected place, and guys aren't doing very much to protect females either, or they weren't when I was growing up. So, anyways, it just felt safer having the affect of a male. And I did that for like 10 years. Okay. So I'm saying, like, there's this agenda that's not in your best interests if you're thinking about this magic pill. Like, you think that it's gonna give you what you think of female experiences. And the thing what I like I had a lot of friends in my early 20s who were drag queens. Not, they didn't get sex change operations, but they they did a lot of performance, and I don't know, there was just something about um, appearing glamorously feminine, or appearing glamorous, really, because it's not feminine. Because these people who are drag queens are very masculine, they're aggressive, they're men. And that is what I notice of both sides. Somebody's taking hormones or whatever, but they're still behaving, they're still reacting as their biological gender, but they want you to hype them up. Like, I never demanded in the 10 years I did boy drag. I never said you got to address me as a he or a man. Didn't it never crossed my mind until this very moment as I'm talking to you. But there's this weird cult and of like people trying to force language about every little thing, and it's this leftist fascist agenda. And I mean, something happened to the psyche of humans, and Americans in particular, it seems to me, and I don't know where it started, but anyways, what I'm saying is, if you're considering an operation, just wait, and really wait. It's worth it to you to wait, to avoid amputating something. Like, operations are no big deal, or operations are nothing to be, ignored. I know people who are constantly getting operations for surface skin cancers, and like, it's not good for them. Like, even though it's just a little bit of skin, like it because it's because their lifestyle, they're doing something, they think they're doing the healthy thing, but they're actually not doing what's healthy. And so they're always having to go back every like month to get skin cut off of their body. And they're not fine about it, even though it's just a little bit of skin. So when you're getting something that's never going to be perfect, I'm just saying, wait. Give yourself 10 years. And I understand people are hyping it to you because they want to make money off of you, because people are sadistic. I mean, that's another thing. The highest number of um, like psychopaths, like the majority of psychopaths, sociopaths, are surgeons. So people who cut into you don't mind chopping you up. Your any consequences are irrelevant. All they care about is their paycheck and, I don't know, the gods they worship, perhaps. And that's something you have to look into. Everybody's like, the Hippocratic Oath, the Hippocratic Oath. The Hippocratic Oath is an oath to Apollyon. It's an oath to Apollyon, who's known in the Bible as the destroyer. Apollyon is the same as Satan. So medicine, the Hippocratic Oath is an oath to Satan and some other unnamed goddesses. So everybody's trying to, everybody's assuming, so naive, that um, pagans are nice people, or that Satanists are nice people, or that Doctors have their best interest. That's some good marketing. That's what movies tell us. But if you look at what has happened to your family members, especially in the past, I don't know, 30 years, 40 years, like there's some sketchy stuff that doctors do with impunity. Weird stuff you see in the newspaper. Like there is something really broken about the medical industry. And I'm saying this from what I have observed personally. Um, when I have been trying to get help, like I was trying to get an appointment to see a gynecologist because I was certain I was having hormone problems, and because I wasn't a woman about to give birth, all these doctors, my main doctor or another doctor, like nobody would give me a referral to a gynecologist. It was like this guarded thing. And I'm like, I am a biological woman. Why is it so hard for me to be able to see a gynecologist to figure out hormones, for premenopausal stuff? Like, isn't that who takes care of things? Like it's like gynecologists were like this highly protected, hands off kind of a thing, and as if I didn't deserve to see a gynecologist. And I bet if somebody was a male to female, they would probably be able to see a gynecologist easier than me because of politics. So medicine is really dangerous. It's like maybe if you have a broken leg, maybe go there. So that's my personal experience. And of course, that's not everything. But so let's say you've done the surgery and you're dealing with gaslighting because they're dismissive when it's a 0% success rate. They're going to blame you because these people are psychotic. They are sadists. They are sadists. They want to cause you pain. These people are evil. They enjoy this. They're going to have a party. Like they have black girl parties where they celebrate killing people, killing their patients. So there's probably going to be a new type of party where they have mutilated people and they're going to celebrate mutilating people, especially young people. Because this is a type of child human sacrifice. If you're in your 20s and you're getting this type of surgery, you're still a child, in my opinion. So mutilating somebody in their 20s is a child human sacrifice. I don't feel like anybody starts to kind of become an adult until their 40s. I just think there's something about brain chemistry or biology. I don't know what it is. So let's say you've already gotten the surgery and you're in pain and agony and you feel humiliated and betrayed. And so it's important for you to realize that other people have been in similar situations where they've been betrayed, they've been led on, they've been exploited, because that's what's happening with young people being brainwashed into getting sex change operations. This is a form of exploitation because people are making money. This is like because the cancer industry is dying down, diabetes, people are healing from autism, they're healing themselves from these man-made diseases. So the sex change operation is like, but if we mutilate people, they're our lifelong patients because we've permanently damaged them and they have to come to us forever. And that's a really horrible, horrible thing. But it's a fact. So folks, just don't buy into it. And the thing is, other people have been mutilated. Like look at men in the military. They've totally been abused, used, exploited, neglected. There's homeless, mentally ill, brain damaged veterans on every street corner in America. So other people have gone through this, and I think men are just they're resilient. They're built for this kind of challenging situation, and and the qualities, the good qualities of men is being used against them in this male to female sex change operation thing. And just know that every high profile female, whether it's an actress, singer, president's wife, royal queen, porn star, cheerleader, fashion model, Playboy bunny, they are all male to females who have kept their reproductive organs. Just look at Lady Gaga. That's a man. And just all the other ones, they all look like men if you just take away the makeup and the long hair and the dress, and they're all men. So, and that's why guys have such an urge to appear like a female. They want to appear like these men, these male to females. Princess Di is a guy, and she's with Elton John. So fortunately, like, some people aren't, dead. Let's say, hopefully. But I digress. So let's say you're dealing with the consequences of this operation. Just know that other people have been abused and exploited and gaslit by psychopaths before. And a lot of people are going through this right now, as you are. And it's in this industry, this evil industry of child human sacrifice. But there's other, military does this, like, because this world is ruled by Satan. It's a evil world. There's women and children being trafficked, men being trafficked. I believe human trafficking is actually what makes the world go round. There's gentle, soft human trafficking that's going on. When you're kind of bullied at your job or something like that. And then there's this nightmare human trafficking that occurs. And so I don't want to diminish the significance of your pain, having lost a part of your anatomy and having been brainwashed that that's going to fix things. And um, you know, like, when we go, and the thing is, it's this psychological operation that people have been exposed to, that, oh, when I do this event, it's going to change things. It's going to give me some type of relief. And at first people think, okay, this amputation was good, it worked for me. And then reality sets in that you still have the mentality that wanted you to get that amputation. And so what's the next amputation? Because relief is now based on this amputation, based on this huge medical procedure. And there's this movie, I forget, I think it was called Whole, and it was about people who had to cut off a part of their leg. There was a lady who blinded herself on purpose. Like, there's people out there, we don't hear about it so much, and I wonder if it's on purpose, who remove their essential body parts, because they feel that they feel terrible with that part of their leg, or they feel terrible that they have vision, or and so I'm wondering if this has been some sort of cultivated medical virus where people feel that they are the wrong gender. Um, and what I'm trying to say from my personal experience of 10 years doing boy drag, that I think there's something to it, because my friends who are doing um, like girl drag, like, they were very attractive gay men that dressed very glamorously. And like, they didn't get sex change operations. They never really wanted to it was never a question. They wanted to keep their reproductive equipment. And they're men now. Like, they don't look like, they don't do drag anymore. But for, I don't know, several years it was going on. It was like, it was their whole life. So so I'm just telling you from my personal experience and my, firsthand observation of people who do drag, or myself, who's kind of doing male drag, boy drag. It's something that you go through. And I think people have a right to go through it. And I just am saying, like, avoid the sadistic sociopaths, psychopaths who want to cause you suffering and do permanent damage to you, because they're demonized, they're satanic. And I do think that we all need God, but I also want to get back to that movie. I think it was called Whole, and it was about these people who were cutting their legs off, and they would go to doctors and say, "I want you to amputate below the knee, right here," and the doctor would be like, "I can't do that. That's malpractice." And then the people would do it themselves, and it would be kind of a disaster. But for some reason, like, what is it? How do people get into this mindset where they feel like they have to amputate themselves, something part of themselves? Is and I am a big fan of like brain health, that if we are depleted in a certain vitamin or mineral or whatever, a certain quality fat, our brain starts informing our mind to think erroneously. And so I think that folks who are thinking they need to get a sex change operation, like, make sure all pistons are firing in your brain. Make sure, get a complete blood workup of all your vitamins and minerals and hormones and whatever, and see if you're missing anything. Do you have too much aluminum or mercury? Like, are you getting a lot of injections, and is that messing with your head? Are you doing too many recreational drugs or psychiatric meds that's messing with your head? Because I think that's what these doctors are assuming, that, oh, everybody's just going to smoke dope and shoot drugs and get drunk, and they'll die before they realize how bad the surgery is, or they'll just be self-medicate for the rest of their life, so they won't realize how bad the surgery is. And I think that's those who are successful, they consider themselves successful. I think they're just doped up, because I know people who get like knee surgery or hip surgery, and they're in agony for like years, like excruciating pain. And I cannot imagine more soft tissue and stuff, part that is working with having to go pee or going to the bathroom. Like, that's really, that's a very challenging part of the body to try to navigate. Like, so anyways, but back to the people who have already gotten that surgery, like, make sure you're getting enough supplementation of vitamins, minerals, hormones, healthy brain fats. Like, make sure your nutrition is good. If you're a vegan, please start eating quality animal products, like grass fed, free range meat and chicken. And you really need to nourish yourself, and avoid drugs, avoid smoking, and some mind altering substances, in my opinion, if that works for you, because you really need to heal and you need to have your brain functioning. And like, what I notice about these folks is they're pretty sharp people. And that's an interesting thing, is well-educated people tend to be hypnotized by this leftist agenda of like erasing gender roles and stuff like that. And um so it's like being intelligent seems like it's too much of a good thing, for folks. And I want to also just encourage you to um, get emotional support, get spiritual support, and I mean from people who are going to be sincerely helpful, and who know where you're coming from. So, and there are a lot of good detransitioner videos out there, and maybe they have more support to offer, of just the physical healing and the grieving process, and just reframing. Okay, so now you've gone through this. Now, other people have had amputations, or they've, become quadriplegic, or they've been trafficked, like, so there's horrors that are really bad that you haven't had. And so don't think this is the end, because other people have lived through worse than what you have. Though what you have gone through is horrible. It's something I would never wish upon anybody. Um, but you can live through this. You can get through this. and you're just going to become a stronger person. You're going to become a smarter person. And so you just need to find, in a way that works for you, what helps you be a stronger person. So for me, I'm thinking, learning about grieving, learning what other detransitioners are doing. And I'm not saying get detransition, just like at least they're going to be understanding because they've gone through the process. They were hoodwinked into it as well. And so they're going to be kind about it. Because if you just go to some ignorant person who's never considered the issue of gender, they're just going to be ignorant. And you just can't ask like somebody who raises ducks to explain how to, you know, train a pony or something like that. Hopefully that makes sense. So, anyways, I don't want to kind of go on and on, but I hope you all uh, find God, because that's what this confusion. That's what, when people trying to amputate their legs or trying to cause themselves to become blind, like that's some sort of, I think, some brain, something's up with the brain, like not getting proper nutrition or being exposed to some type of toxicity or some type of demonic possession, because demons, they want to harm humans, and they don't mind harming the humans they inhabit. In the Bible, there was a guy who was possessed by demons, and the demons would cause the man to jump in the fire and to cut himself on the stones. So the demons mutilate the body they take harbor in. So that's why I recommend having a relationship with Jesus. And I know that's a tough topic for some folks, and folks are like, "Well, Christians are so mean." Blah blah blah. They shouldn't be mean, but Christians are humans too, and so Christians make a mistake. I'm not saying that's acceptable, and I do think a lot of Christians who cause people, who church hurt other people, I think those aren't real Christians. Because if you're a real Christian, if you're a Bible believer, you realize that you made mistakes, you were ignorant until you found Jesus. And so, like, Jesus didn't kick you in the teeth all the years that you weren't listening to him. So why should a Christian be rude to somebody else? Now, if a leftist is being rude to a Christian and a Christian defends themselves, you can't blame the Christian for defending themselves. Although that's what a lot of. My point is, though, that God, He created you, He knew you from the beginning of time. So the fact that you exist means that God wants to have a relationship with you. So I hope you turn to God and you just ask him, God, like, what do I do? Help me have the strength. Like, ask God, I need you to help me. And the thing is, you need to have a relationship with Jesus. So I recommend you learning more about Jesus. And I mean, I recommend the verse, 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 4, and Romans 3:25. So, because it's like, that's the phone number to God. So you have to call that number in order to be able to talk to God, because he's just got one telephone line, and it's those verses. So thank you for watching, and I pray that you find the wherewithal within you to get through this. And for those who haven't had surgery, I just pray that you continue to work on your healing and health, and make sure that you're getting all your nutrition, so you make good decisions and avoid toxins, avoid things that put you in a hypnotic dream state, where you don't realize that this is the 3D reality, and you can't switch things out like a video game. So I hope you retain your biology, don't do amputations, and I hope you just find like peace with yourself and acceptance with yourself, because that's the unfortunate thing is, this cult is about rejection of your biology. And it's weird because on one hand the cult wants everybody to accept them, but on the other hand the cult is rejecting themselves. They're cutting off their breasts, or they're cutting off their reproductive organs. And it's just this incredible irony. Um, I'm just saying, keep all your body parts. You don't need to get rid of them. Even if you're doing, um, the opposite lifestyle, um, like just wait. Give it 10 years, seriously. But you got to work on yourself too. You can't just be like, I'm going to smoke dope for 10 years and then I'm going to get a surgery. Like you really have to get to know yourself and have a relationship with God and learn and grow. Because there is no magic bullet for life. Getting an operation is not gonna fix things. Just like my friends who have chronic skin cancer, they're every month or so they're going and getting an operation, and and they think that the solution is, oh, I'm just gonna get the operation and it's fixed. No, they've been getting operations for 20 years, so the operation is not fixing things. So figure out what what um what the real thing is, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is for you. But I do know that when we are properly nourished and when we avoid toxins, whether it's a chemical or people or whatever, like then we make better decisions. And everybody has to decide for their unique life. So what works for one person isn't going to work for somebody else. But I'm saying, like, figure yourself out. Just be there for yourself. Listen to yourself. Get to know yourself. That's what I'm trying to say is get to know yourself for real, and have the courage of standing up for yourself, defending yourself, um, and and also just having a good relationship with God, because He's going to help you navigate when things get kind of complicated. And I'm not saying that God is going to make everything easy, because God is not a magic pill either. Because we're here in this challenging life to have life, to learn, and to build our character. And, and the fact that we're where we are means that we're capable of just taking that next step. Just keep taking the next step. Take the next step that's not toxic, that's growth oriented, that will protect you, that will help you, that will heal you. Because you're the most important thing to you. You got to take care of yourself. I'm not saying like ignore your best friend choking right next to you, or your niece, about to fall off a staircase. Help those people, of course. But if you can't take care of yourself, like that oxygen mask, trope that everybody says, like you have to get oxygen first before you can help those get oxygen. So, and the oxygen that people need is reflective time with themselves. The oxygen that people need are real friendships, and being present, being sober, not being high with your friends all the time or with your family or whatever, and never even really being real. And yes, it's scary. It's scary being a human being. It's scary having the courage of your convictions of who you are. But that's where we're at. And my goal in this video is to prevent unnecessary pain. Like nobody needs more agony than they're already going to get in this life. Like to amputate body parts and become a lifelong surgery patient, to an industry that is malevolent, is malicious, is practicing malpractice as a way of life, that has known psychotic people performing the operation. I mean, that's worse than prison, you know? So I'm just trying to say, hey, stay out of that. I'm not saying act like a man or your biological gender. I'm saying just keep doing whatever, however you want to look, but take care of yourself. Make sure you're eating right. Make sure you're not missing any nutrients. Make sure you're not exposing yourself to toxins or injections, or some kind of weird psychological programming that's brainwashing you to hate certain parts of your anatomy. Because there's a million different things of why this is happening. Um, and my goal is just like, don't hurt yourself, folks. And if you have hurt yourself, just take care of yourself, okay? Okay, you gotta slow down and how to heal, how to grieve, how to accept yourself, how to get through this. Just one foot in for the other. Just keep going. You know, you're here for a reason. If you're here for a reason, and God wants you here, and you can't take yourself out. That's not good. So you just got to be strong, and it's hard. It's hard to be strong. It's hard to have that strength, to muster the strength to keep going on. And so, that's why we chat with other people and our friends and try to do things, get our mind off of the difficulty. Um, so that's what you got to do. That's just life. Um, so I hope this helps somebody. And again, these are just my personal experiences. So just so YouTube doesn't get mad and the Big Brother censorship folks, I'm just saying what I know from personal experience. And my intention is to protect people who are kind of lost and they may be doped up, so they're not thinking straight and they're looking for answers. They're trying to be responsible, but there's a whole operation. I mean, there's a whole organization that's bent on manipulating vulnerable kids to get um, amputated. And it's so sick. It's so twisted. It's so disgusting. And nobody's really pointing it out, not in direct ways, and until it's maybe after the fact. So I just want to put that out there, and I want to encourage those who are dealing with the after effects. And I want to encourage those who are questioning and just say, hey, just take it easy, give yourself time, and make sure to take care of all of your body and your brain. And because uh, like what Satan does is he seduces people with an idea. He's very good at marketing. So, and he's the root of propaganda. And so you think, oh, when I'm going to buy a car, I'm going to travel to Paris and I'm going to have a great job and visit my family. And what is the majority of things that people do talking about cars? Is a lot of being stuck in traffic, having road rage, accidents, parking tickets, the cost of like repairs and stuff like that. And of course, people can't live without cars now, but it is not at all that fairy tale of freedom and connection and whatever. As a matter of fact, people are they're less connected to their families because they assume that they'll just drive to see their families. But instead, what are people doing? People are driving to Timbuktu and whatever, instead of being with their families like every weekend, like they thought they would. So Satan is very seductive about propagandizing to us what is what's very good. He preys upon our good nature. And then when we have made the mistake, then we've lost something so precious, um, and we don't know that it was there until it's gone. But my point is that like life, like as a human being, is really in the Bible. It's called a vapor. So when you're pouring tea and there's just that little bit of steam. So that's life. It's just a bit of vapor. It feels like a long time. I'm with you. It feels like too long. Like every year I'm like, oh my gosh, it feels like 50 years. But when you have a relationship with God, then you have eternity. and you get a new body. You get a glorified body. So let's say it was a mistake right now. Just wait. Like, just keep building your relationship with God, and it will be okay. All right. But yeah, it's hard. I cannot imagine all the anger and the betrayal and the loss and the grief and the pain. Um, I can't imagine if it's anything like a combination of, a really sprained ankle, or broken foot, or, combined with terrible urinary tract infections and stuff like that. Like, that's just unthinkable agony. And I bet they put people on major pain medications, which probably is keeping that 30% that consider it a success rate. They're just like, oh, I'm on this heavy medication, so it's okay. And but it's not okay. So like morally, ethically, it's not okay that somebody's going to be on heavy meds for optional cosmetic surgery, because this is just a very elaborate cosmetic surgery, because people think that it's going to change their appearance, and it's not going to change their appearance. It's not going to change their personality, because all of this exaggerated femininity, that's what the rest of us see. We see this exaggerated cartoon, you know and and there's a personality. Like, what I've noticed in my personal experience meeting men firsthand who are taking hormones, female hormones, is they're still male. They're still aggressive or stoic. I mean, they just act like guys who are on hormones, and being on hormones is hard enough. I mean, hormones are this loose cannon, random Russian roulette kind of a thing, especially when a guy has not had female hormones all their life, and then all of a sudden they're being exposed to female hormones. So they're men going through a girl's adolescence. Like, that just does not seem good. It doesn't seem safe. So anyways, let me know if this was helpful. And I just want to be encouraging to everybody. You got to figure it out, and and you have to have the freedom to figure things out. I just don't like that there's this organized agenda that's pressuring children to make life-changing mutilations, like, of their body. Like, that's my problem. Like, I had to figure out my gender stuff for 9-10 years, and like, I figured it out, or I didn't, but I was able, I just was left to my own devices. And I think people need to, like, not be pressured into getting sex change operations. Because when there's this whole, like, support system in our culture of alienation, like, everybody is so isolated in America. Everybody's just, like, addicted to their phones, addicted to their drugs, like, addicted to social media. And so there's not a whole lot of authentic face-to-face interactions, even amongst family nowadays, especially if you're in the LGBT thing, like, people, because people are doing drugs, or, so, and they're just addicted to this persona kind of lifestyle. So when people I think are going to get these surgeries, this is the first time they've had interactions, nice, pleasant interactions with people in person for maybe for the first time. Because I think that's what happens with cancer patients. I think there's probably a psychological, emotional component of cancer. And so then the cancer patient is going to make that cancer unit, $1 million, $500,000. So since they know that breast cancer patient's going to make them $500,000. Yeah, they're able to have good customer service. They're nice, so it's different than the nasty husband being mean to the wife, or the nasty, person at the store being rude to the person with cancer at the store. So so there's an incentive for in-person meetings, and for people to be polite in these like when there's money to be made, things are going to work well. Like there's going to be competent people, um, and especially since this is a type of human sacrifice kind of a thing, like formal. So it's going to work better than your telephone company. It's going to work better than your auto mechanic. So I could see the appeal of going to medicine for kind of like respite from this evil human race. But the thing is, they want their pound of flesh, and they keep on wanting it. So that's what I'm just trying to warn you about. And like, I know it's hard to find good connections in this today's world, but keep your anatomy and just keep searching. Keep searching for that connection that you're looking for, because that's what you want. And it's God. You want a connection with God. And of course, we're supposed to connect with other people as well. So work on that instead of removing body parts. Thanks for watching. God bless.